To Momniversary, Art of Mir.
Thanks so much for hosting. Thanks so much for hosting.
Thanks so much for hosting.
Well, heyo everyone, and welcome. I'm your friend Art of Mana, and let's dive into our 194th stream. And before I go on, you can obviously tell that something's up. Yes, I am still sick. Let me just simply say that I picked up something nasty, and my voice is pretty well shot. I've got even possibly another week or two recovery time for just the basics, and maybe possibly a month for my voice to return. However, that being said, I feel like my voice is better than it's ever been, and so I want to thank everyone who's been thinking of me, has been giving me kind words, and who's been praying for me. Everything has been very much appreciated. I really do think that helps. And at this point today, we are going to be playing Star Wars Edge of the Empire. Yes, you're probably thinking, but Mana, with that voice, surely you should rest it. Well, thankfully, I don't do this alone. In fact, I have some wonderful friends here who are going to be doing the bulk of the talking and also explaining what it is that we're doing today. So with that being said, why don't we go straight to Dash Magnum, and why don't you introduce yourself, and we'll just go down the list.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome. I'm Dash Magnum. I will be the GM for today's game, for today's story. Let's see, what else can I say? In terms of where you can find me, I'm usually on Twitter, usually just retweeting cool pictures I find on Twitter. I will do my best once the Star Wars movie comes out not to talk about it too much until at least a month or so afterwards, but looking forward to that. I think after that, let's toss it on to our two other players. Let's start with returning player Rem.
Hello, my name is Ramuko. I am playing Vex 41 on 41 Vex. That's right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. I'm not
Droid
today. Yeah.
Droid extraordinaire.
Yeah, droid extraordinaire indeed. I'm a doctor. Basically said. My brain is.
No worries. Yeah, and then we have a new player joining us today. Ginny, introduce yourself and introduce your character you'll be playing.
Hello, I'm Ginny Gravity. You can find me over on Twitch. I stream usually Nintendo games, so this is something a little new for me. My character's name is Sasha. She is a scout/archaeologist, and I'm going to learn about her more today, I'm sure.
We'll figure that out as we go. Yeah, no worries. All right. Well, before we get started, let me take a little bit of time to catch everybody up on the story thus far. So, our story began back on the dusty planet of Tatooine, where four of our illustrious characters, we had, of course, Rem's Vex 41, Mana's Oscara, the Twi'lek bounty hunter, and I'm going to go ahead and say at least maybe, if not the most dangerous, the second most dangerous member of the crew. If Oscar is not the most dangerous, the next most dangerous would be the owl who is playing Lorik the Wookiee, who used to fight as a gladiator for Timo the Hutt. And last of all was Pash, who's been played actually by two wonderful players so far. Yoda Stein and Tech Jockey have played Pash the pilot. And all four of them, through their own reasons, came to the conclusion that their employment with Timo the Hutt, Hutt gangster, just wasn't working out. So they decided to escape. They broke out of Timo's palace. They liberated a the current ship they have, the YT-1300 freighter, the Crate Fang, from the Trandoshan bounty hunter Trex, who went out in a very Smash Brothers style, tossed out of his own ship while in flight, and then breaking atmosphere. The four friends managed to evade Imperial TIE fighters who were on the dole from Timo the Hutt, and now they are on their way trying to start a new life. While they were exploring their new ship, they met a middle-aged woman by the name of Saito, a blind woman who had been captured by Trex, and she informed them that she too was helping a group of miners on the Twi'lek homeworld of Ryloth, who were under attack from some developers who were trying to steal their mine away from them under the auspices of the same Timo the Hutt. Just can't get away from that worm. And today we'll be picking up just after their meeting with Saito, when they land on a space station for some quick repairs and refueling. And with that, I think we're ready to get started.
Diversion! In dire need of fuel and repairs, the crew of the Crate Fang have secured berthing on Horvax Station, a bustling trade hub along their way to their destination, Ryloth. While intrepid pilot Pash and brave Lorik busy themselves with the needs of their ship, the stoic hunter Oscara and droid of all trades Vex set out on Horvax Station to enjoy some much-needed shore leave. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the Metropolitan Space Station, the daring explorer Sasha has just learned the local museum will be holding an auction, including long-lost artifacts from the private hoard of the loathsome Timo the Hutt. Yet, if Sasha hopes to save these rare relics from the clutches of yet another criminal collection, she will first need to find allies.
All right, well, as the crawl fades upwards, the camera pans downward to a dimly lit alleyway aboard Horvax Station, where we see several thugs, mix of races, aliens, Aqualish, Ithorians, a couple humans, busy loading crates, and while we can only dimly hear their conversation in the distance, the camera settles over the shoulder of someone dressed in a cloak holding up a pair of macro binoculars. And this person watches for a few moments and then lowers the macro binoculars, and that's when we first see the face of Sasha, the archaeologist and explorer. So Ginny, I'm going to hand this over to you real quickly. go ahead and talk a bit about Sasha. Why she's here, what she's doing as she's spying on these thugs.
So Sasha is watching these thugs unload crates, right? And she is aware that Timo the Hutt owns these artifacts that are in the crates, correct?
That is correct. You received a tip from one of your friends at the university you work for that Timo the Hutt was going to be holding a private auction for some of his gangster friends to sell off some of his private collection. And you're right now here doing a little bit of reconnaissance, trying to ascertain the truth to those. So, to start with, I'm going to have you make the first roll of the session. Make me a knowledge lore check as you're peering through your macro binoculars at these crates. So, again, that'll be under your skills. Knowledge, I believe, goes off of intellect.
Yes.
And I think you have 1 rank in lore.
Let me just scroll a little bit. Where would I find lore? Is that under...
It's under your skills. It'll be on the right-hand side under knowledge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
They divide up...
I do.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm still learning my way around a bit. So that would be...
No problem.
2 green die, right? Because I have 3 intellect. And 1 yellow die.
1 yellow die. And this is going to be an average check, so add 2 purple die.
Alright. And then I just roll, right?
And you just hit roll, and it'll automatically tell you what the final results are.
Alright, so I got no success, but 2 advantage.
2 advantage. Okay. So the way I'm going to go over the rules again real quickly. The way there's 2 axes of success. There's success and failure, which is very obvious. Either you do the thing you're trying to do or you don't. But there's also advantage and disadvantage or threat. And those, what they're meant to provide are just little environmental bonuses or things that will help you out even if you don't achieve your goal. So it's entirely possible in this game to get a net failure, but still have advantages which are helping you out.
Okay.
Consequently, you can succeed on a check, but get threats or disadvantages, so you get to do what you're doing, but there's something that's maybe going to be a problem in the future looming over you. So here, you got completely neutral on success and failure, but you got 2 advantages. So what you were trying to do is you were trying to identify the crates themselves. You can't do that, but you have something that will maybe give you a clue that tells you something advantageous. Either I can come up with that for you, or if you have an idea of something that'll help you out, you can tell me what that is. I'll leave it up to you.
So, would that be like being able to identify the writing on crates? Would that be a success in this case? Or would that be an advantage in this case? Like maybe I could...
Maybe you recognize the planet of origin.
Yes.
And maybe not necessarily that... So, like, you're reading the labeling on the crates, and you don't see anything identifying it as belonging to Timo the Hutt, but you see that its port of origin is Tatooine.
Okay.
And that... we'll say that's enough that you at least feel pretty secure in knowing what's going on. However, because you didn't succeed, I'm going to say, while you're looking at this, you realize that while this is probably the crates you're looking for, now is not the time to try and liberate them. There's simply too many thugs gathered around, and they are keeping watch, and so I think this would be a good chance to do a scene transition. So you realize you're probably going to have to find some help in order to liberate these artifacts. You're not going to be able to do it on your own. So we see you stand up and make your way out of this alleyway, and I think your cloak kind of swishing over will be our scene wipe, scene transition, and we're going to move up to the hangar where the crate Fang is parked. And just to set the scene a little bit as we move in, we actually don't see the crate Fang just yet. We actually see the station, Orvac station, from the outside. It's a large cylindrical station with a lot of counter-rotating rings around it. that are helping to provide gravity on the station. Think very similar to like something like the Citadel from Mass Effect, which borrows its own influences from Star Wars. We see that, and then we hear a sudden roar of engines as the Crate Fang kind of zooms in from overhead, heading straight for the station. And then we do another scene transition with the ship landed. We can hear on the ship, we can hear Posh and Lorik arguing with each other, the sound of wrenches clanging as they're working on repairs for the ship. But what we instead see is we see Oscara and Vex leaving the ship, stepping onto the hangar bay. Yes, potentially wrench fighting with each other, Rem. And we see them step out. The hangar's very busy right now. You can see it's mainly like little pit droids from Episode 1 running around, connecting fuel hoses to ships, pushing hover crates full of fuel rods and other equipment. And we meet Oscara and Vex as they're exiting the ship. So let's start that scene with the two of them working out what they're going to do next. I hand it over to Rem and Mana.
What do we do is this. We just got out of a massive battle and now we're on our way. I don't know what to do next yet. Tell me, droid.
We should get some argon. We run out.
Argon, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. That would be a good
and food
thing.
and that stuff.
Ah, yes. The thing that you do not need. But tell me, droid, do you need any maintenance or anything like that?
A few medikits and repair kits should be useful.
Seems like we
And
should
new
drop
oil.
a list.
The hut did not have the best oil.
That slimy hut had nothing good. I tell you what, why don't we take my datapad, we write up a list, and we should go and find all that we need. We have to be the responsible ones on this ship. No, we know Bash won't do it.
He probably fell asleep already.
At least the Wookiee is watching him.
Right. And as you two start walking away, you hear a tapping sound behind you on the boarding ramp, and you see the woman Zaito with her cane slowly making her way down the ramp. And she asks you, "Oh, are you heading out for supplies?"
Very perceptive, blind one.
A good guess. Would you
Tell me.
mind if I tagged along? I don't think I'll be much use on this ship.
I don't know that you'll be much use to me either, but that being said, it might give us a chance to know each other.
That's all I ask. Very well, if you wouldn't mind leading the way.
Of course,
oh.
here.
Let me hold your hand.
Thank you, Master Droid. And Zaito offers her hand and grips Zaito's metal fingers and lets Vex lead the way. As you're walking, she says, "You know, I think I picked up the scent of calf coming from," and she'll point off to the, if we're going by cardinal directions, off to the east. And I'm going to move these guys away. Off to the east, I think I smell a calf dispenser. Vex, I'm sorry, I don't know if they have oil in that direction, but if the rest of you are amenable, we can perhaps start our shopping over that way.
I could do with some good meat.
All right. So as you make your way, I'm going to move Zaito's token around where there's a bit of a four-way intersection. There's actually a small diner over, to the, here, see if I can, oh, good, Mana, you do have control of your token, awesome. And this is actually, because this is on a spaceport where there are a lot of droids, Vex, you are not turned away at the door. You're allowed in, and there is a small oil bath station inside. It's like a, imagine an airport coffee shop. That's basically the vibe inside here. And the three of you are in there for a few minutes, and we can talk for a bit. But Ginny, Sasha will be entering from the west and taking a seat. But yeah, let's have a quick role-playing scene as Sasha enters this little airport or spaceport diner. So let me go around. Vex, what are you doing? It's been a few minutes since you've entered the diner.
I'm probably striking conversation with Saito and Osaka. Osaka probably being more quiet.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Oscar, are you digging into maybe, have you ordered food already, or and that's why you're kind of being more quiet? Or?
Knowing Oscar, well, first of all, I'm taking everything in, trying to assess my surroundings, make sure that there are no immediate threats. I'm definitely making plans. I'm still trying to keep an eye on Zyto. I think we left last time with a little bit of ambiguity and some uncertainty, and I'm still trying to kind of get to know Zyto, but I'm not the most warm and fuzzy person, if you can imagine such a thing. And so I don't know how to do it, and I also don't really know that I want to do it. But yeah, I think all of that, paired with the fact that I have a really good slab of meat on my plate, makes it so that
you got the Nerf riblet.
Exactly. I'm otherwise disposed right now.
Alrighty. So maybe then we can have. Oh, actually, before we move on from that, it sounds like you were trying to make a perception check earlier, Oscara.
Yes.
So why don't we go ahead and do that? This is going to be an average perception check, so 2 purple die. But I am going to add a black setback die because the diner's pretty busy at the moment. There's a lot of people moving around, a lot of noise, making it difficult to concentrate while you're doing this. So go ahead and make that with 2 purple and 1 black.
Before I do that,
yes.
I do believe I just made some updates to my character, some improvements and things like that. Is there anything that would give me an advantage in this role?
Let me see. Open up your character sheet real quick. Okay.
I wonder if maybe expert tracker or bot info might actually be, or no, do I have bot info right now?
You have bot info, which is, I'm looking forward to that. Bot info is mainly used for knowledge checks and expert tracker for survival checks. However, if you want, I'm willing to give you a bonus die because as a seasoned bounty hunter, you're used to picking details out of a crowd.
Awesome.
Would that be, I'll allow that. Again, always negotiate with me for bonus die.
And that is 1 blue die, right?
1 blue die, yes, please.
Okay, let me make the roll. Ooh, okay, so not so great, actually. 3 disadvantages, or sorry, not 3 failures and a wash otherwise.
Okay, well, the good news is you were just trying to make a perception check, so all you failed to do was to notice anything unusual or untoward.
Oh, that's right. If it was a disadvantage, I might have had something bad happening, but
might have had maybe someone noticing you instead. But no, failure is just you don't notice anything. So, depending on look at it, unfortunately, you don't notice when Sasha comes in through a separate door and begins making her way through the crowd. But right now, Vex, you said you wanted to be talking with Zyto a bit while Ascara is listening in. So why don't we have that kind of quick conversation? So are there any questions you would want to ask her?
Not really. It's probably more just like small talk.
Small talk. Zyto's more than amenable to chatting and small talking. She reveals a couple things about herself. She says she mainly works as a negotiator. And that's what she was doing when she was captured by the Trandoshan bounty hunter Trex. She mainly tries her best to help communities in need, to negotiate, to arbitrate disagreements over land disputes, payment disputes. She seems like the kind of person who's, generally trying to make the galaxy a better place as best as she can, under the auspices of the Empire. She doesn't sound especially fond of the Empire, but she doesn't drop any seditious or rebellious kind of language. So it's mainly more talking about her struggles to try and work under the Empire's laws and auspices. By the way, how do the two of you generally feel about the Empire? You do notice that while you're walking around, there are stormtroopers patrolling the decks, usually just in two-man pairs. Most of them are in the docking, doing customs checks on the ships as they come in. How do you two feel about the Empire, just for the sake of character building?
As a medical droid, I probably would not have had too much contact with them, so I'm indifferent.
Fair enough.
And I'm sorry, I believe there was a question for me?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was asking how Oscara felt about the Empire, since that came up while chatting with Zaito.
Boy, I'm trying to think here, but I want to say... Boy, I don't actually know. I'm going to have to dig into that a little bit and figure out my character backstory. Let's just say for now it's complicated, and I've had two main motivations that don't really involve the Empire too much at this point.
Okay. I will mention something, actually I probably should have mentioned this earlier. While you were walking around this station, because this station is located pretty close to Ryloth, being a bounty hunter, Oscar, you notice there are several wanted posters up for one Cham Syndulla.
Oh.
Now, Manny, you might know who that is out of character. Oscara may know who that is in character, but that would be a knowledge Outer Rim roll.
Okay. Well, how about we go ahead and do that roll?
Absolutely. That'll be for you, since you are Twi'lek, that is an easy knowledge Outer Rim roll. And I'll even give you a bonus die again for being a bounty hunter. This is something you would probably be keeping tabs on.
So is that 2 green, 1 purple, and 1 blue?
Yes. And yeah, 1 purple, 1 blue, no setback, and then yeah, 1. Do you have knowledge Outer Rim?
Oh, let me double check that.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Did you update this sheet after we spoke?
I did update it. I think actually no, you have knowledge.
I have
Underworld.
Underworld is what it is.
I will count that in this case.
Okay. So
I
rolled
Underworld instead.
It is a wash.
Okay.
All of the rolls today have been a wash. For those who are new to the system, you basically add up, the two opposing types of die, and all of my rolls have been washes. Well, pretty much.
Tell you what, you know the most basic information about Cham Syndulla. Oscara knows that he was once he fought in the Clone Wars on the Republic side. And he was famous over the planet over. He along with the Jedi Master Mace Windu, helped drive off the Separatists from Ryloth. But beyond that, you don't know. All you know is that he's now wanted by the Empire. But you don't know any additional information of why.
All right, awesome. As a quick out-of-character aside here,
yes.
Question for the Game Master. I can't recall. So this helps me knowing that this is around this time and all this, or after this time, of course, with Cham. So, in Oscara's backstory, was there any discussion about the Imperial presence on Ryloth, or
There wasn't in the write-up. However, and this goes for everybody, anything you want to be a part of your character's backstory, run it by me. Chances are I'll probably say yes, because it'll probably be fun and give a fun plot hook.
that sounds good to me. Okay, so I might modify a little bit my response to saying that I am. I've got a lot of that rebel, you know, a little bit of Cham in me, you know. I mean, I've just rebelled against a hut.
He is a hero of Ryloth, so I can't imagine a whole lot of Twi'leks not looking up to him at least a little. So
perfect.
That makes sense.
All right, I feel like there's a little bit of freedom fighter in me.
You know, that sounds true to Oscara. I'm going to jump over back now to Ginny. Sorry for ignoring you for so long.
Oh, no, it's fine.
But hopefully this gave you a little bit more backstory onto the characters. So, Sasha, you walk into the diner hoping to find people who can help you with your mission. So go ahead. Or actually, you know what? I'll just tell you what you see. Most of the people in this are spacers of some variety or another. It's a couple steps down from the Mos Eisley Canteen. It's not that much of a hive of scum and villainy. Most of these people are just travelers on their way through. Not quite so rough and tumble, but you do see in that back corner a heavily armored Twi'lek woman and a droid having a little bit of a conversation in the corner. Go ahead and make a perception check on them specifically. This is going to be an average perception check. No setback. Yep.
2 purple dice.
2 purple dice. You got it.
Okay. And that's an intellect roll?
Cunning.
Cunning. All right.
I think for perception.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I got a success and 3 advantage.
Okay. So you definitely notice that the Twi'lek woman is definitely armed. And you notice a couple of modifications on the droid as well. Now for those, you got 3 advantages. The way advantages usually work on perception is that they give you additional bits of information. So tell you what, if you want, you can use those to ask me some questions about these characters. And these are things you noticed as you're kind of watching them from the other side of the diner. So what would you want to know about these people?
So Sasha's mission is to get these artifacts from the hut, right?
Correct.
All right. So she probably geez. Sorry, I'm gonna have to think about this for a second.
No, take your time. And again, if you want me to maybe suggest a couple of things, that's fine too.
I wouldn't mind suggestions.
Okay.
Can I give a suggestion?
Yeah, of course.
Maybe.
Jump in, guys. Yeah.
Maybe this may be a long stretch, but maybe I have healed her in the past a long time ago.
Oh, you think maybe you two recognize each other? That's entirely possible. Star Wars is built on coincidences. Yeah, for 3 advantages, I'll allow that. If that's amenable to everybody.
Awesome. I like it.
Yeah, no, that would be quite amenable for me.
Alrighty. Excuse me, my cat's jumping up. 1 second. But yeah, so Sasha, yeah, you recognize this droid, which is highly unusual to you. The galaxy is full of droids, but you recognize this one in particular. This is 41 Vex, a droid who has passed through maybe a couple different owners. But I'll say even for one of those advantages, you know this droid, last you had heard, had been working for Timo the Hutt. So I think maybe that is enough for you to think, maybe these people can help me. So why don't we have a quick scene. Sasha, how do you want to approach this group of 3 people in the diner?
So... yeah, okay. So Sasha's going to perhaps just sit nearby and order some food and listen in on their conversation a bit. Would it be too noisy in this diner to do such a thing?
If you maybe like go into like the booth directly behind them, it's not that noisy. I mean, the noise in the diner right now is mainly people having conversations. Every so often there is a we'll say there's a Mon Calamari server who will call out in a loud voice, "Order 57 is up. 3 bantha tubers. You cannot repel flavor of this magnitude."
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Doing a bit. Doing a little bit.
That's good.
So yeah, that's mainly the loudest thing is the Mon Calamari server calling out orders. Hold on 1 second, I'll be right back.
I think some light tunes might be in the background here as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of what
Some
I'm
light
thinking.
tunes.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Had to
No worries.
put the cat out.
Yeah, that's a good reason.
Hopefully yeah.
In 5 seconds, it wants to get in again.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But I have the door closed now, so it's fine. But anyway, yeah. There's probably not jizz, but there's some light kind of basic Star Wars music playing in the background. And so as the conversation continues, you're hearing them talk. I assuming you guys are basically making plans now. You're drawing up your list of things you need. You're probably not talking too much about where you just came from, but you're definitely talking about, like, we definitely need to make sure we have Argon. We definitely need to make sure we have, enough rations and supplies to head on to Ryloth. And Ginny, you're picking up all of this. I'm not going to make you roll for this. You're close enough to do this.
Okay.
The roll I actually want to make, or have someone makes, is Vex. I want you to make a perception check to see if you recognize Sasha sitting across the way.
Okay.
This is going to be an average check, but with a setback, because I'm assuming, Sasha, were you trying to be discreet?
Perhaps not completely discreet,
Okay.
but enough to listen in for a few minutes to see what was going on.
Okay. So, no setback then, Vex. Just 2 purple dice.
Okay. And only 1 green because I only got 1 in cunning.
Unfortunately.
And that's 2 threats.
2 threats.
Thanks, Vex.
Let's see. Well, this is again just a perception check. So, threats of this nature. What would be? If you guys have suggestions for what good threats would be.
Well, I mean, seeing as we are in some sort of cantina, maybe finally the bartender or the person behind the counter looks up and says, "Wait a minute, we don't serve droids here."
Oh well, I thought no, we can have that be the case.
I don't know. I was
Or,
just throwing something out there.
I had that's an option. Or maybe what it is.
Or maybe there's just one person at the place that really doesn't like droids.
That I think will work, because I think I had said there was an oil station in this place.
Yeah.
Service droids.
You did.
So so maybe there's like this one person that's just like, ugh, I can't believe that we have droids sitting here eating food.
So soon after didn't we just fight a war over this? And
yeah.
So yeah, maybe we'll say there's a surly-looking human who steps up to the table and is like, I don't think I much like your company you're keeping here. And it is looking directly at Vex.
I am sorry. I am sorry. Osaka does not mean any harm.
Oh,
What?
I was
He kinda was like-
on me.
Yeah. Taken aback. He's taken aback like, no, I'm talking about your droid. Droids belong back out in the hangars doing the work. What does a droid even need to eat for? And Zaito kind of pulls up her cane, and she's had it kind of off to the side by the table. You see her take it and start to pull it up closer to her and say, Sir, I assure you, my friend here, I need him to help lead me around. Perhaps you didn't notice, and she gestures up to the bandage wrapped around her eyes. I need him to get around. I'm sure you understand.
As you wouldn't want to do anything to upset this lady, now would you? And then I look menacingly at him and kind of reach down to my side.
It sounds like you're trying to make a coercion check, Oscara.
Oh, darn, is that what I'm doing?
That's what it kind of sounded like, where you were making, you were trying to intimidate this guy a bit.
I think that's probably right. Now I don't have any coercion points, but I'll go for it. I'll make the roll.
Yeah, go for it. You can still roll your attributes.
Okay,
the green dice.
So that's
This is going to be an average check.
coercion's willpower, so that's 2, and then it would be 1 purple dice and no blue.
That is correct.
I'm learning.
Yeah, you're doing good. You guys are doing great.
Okay, well we got. Oh, this is good. Actually, hey, this is really good. 2 successes.
2 successes. So you see this human kind of turns to you, Oscar, and he's, got his own kind of menacing frown on his face, but he sees your hand settle on your blaster, and he thinks twice. And he's like, I'm not happy, but I'm not so unhappy that I'm really risk anything. And he's like, I guess I'll just take my business elsewhere. And he stomps out through the back of the diner.
You've made a wise
again,
decision here, my friend. And I just kind of dismiss him.
He did not have a blaster on him either, so don't bring no blasters to a blaster fight. It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
And Sasha, you heard all of this transpire. Why don't we go back to you, Sasha? What do you want to do next? Having just seen this Twi'lek pretty handily talk down this potentially hairy situation.
So I'd like to turn to this table and say, you guys seem like a bunch of people who are pretty capable of handling themselves. I happen to know this droid here. He healed me once after a skirmish back on Onderon. Oh geez, where did she come from? How would I pronounce that? Yeah, Onderon. Thank you.
Onderon. There you go. Yeah, no problem.
And I have a bit of a proposition.
It's a small world, isn't it? Or small universe, isn't it? You know Vex? Our
I
Vex?
know Vex.
Really? What is your name?
Check. Can I check if I recognize her?
Yeah, no check at this point, I think, actually. Once she's facing you and you have a chance to look at her, you're a droid. You have a literally holographic memory. And you immediately recognize Sasha, who I think, at some point you maybe helped patch up while she was working on the planet Onderon.
Can I ask Vex for information about Sasha? So you know her. Who is she?
She is Sasha. She had strained her ankle, 3 shot wounds.
And you fixed
I
her up.
think-
She's capable now.
That I certainly am.
I think, unless you guys have an idea for what Sasha was doing on Onderon, I think I have an idea.
Shoot, yeah.
Because, again, with your background as an archaeologist, Onderon is a planet of rich history in the Republic, dating back all the way to the Old Republic era. And as such, it is rife with many temples full of both ancient Jedi and other Force artifacts. So I think maybe you were on a mission there. I believe right now Onderon is under Imperial control. So you may have been having to dodge some Imperial patrols. Oh, that's right. In the Clone Wars cartoon, there actually were some episodes that took place on Onderon. If I remember correctly, that's where Saw Gerrera came from. So maybe there's a bit of an ongoing rebellion going on Onderon, and Sasha and Vex were both stuck in the middle of it.
Interesting. So are you any good with a blaster, Sasha?
I know how to squeeze the trigger and aim at a person.
So do you enjoy killing?
I wouldn't say enjoy so much as, sometimes it's necessary.
In a pinch, you'll do in a battle, huh?
Yes.
Listen, let me just cut to the chase. I am with a small band of people and a droid, and we might be in need of some
Droids are
extra
people
hands.
too.
Yes,
Saito
Vex.
cuts in. Oh, Vex is a people.
Oh,
Vex counts as a
sure, whatever. It's all good.
She
We're headed to
chuckles.
Ryloth. I'm not usually this forward, but here's the thing. I may need someone with, how shall I say, the ability to be stealthy. I don't think that that would be a problem for you, would it?
No, yeah, that's definitely closer to my skill set. Killing people, no. Stealth, much preferred.
But here's the thing. I have a feeling there might be someone with a gun to my back. A blaster, I should say. What would you do to help me? And I think right now, like, Askara's kind of just, like, checking her fingernails. Like, not even looking at Sasha.
Saito will cut in at this point. Askara, I understand your caution, and it is welcome. However, I believe I heard Sasha mention she had a proposition for us. Why don't we hear her offer out first, and then we can decide?
Saito... Fine.
Please, Miss Sasha, was it?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. The Force seems to work in mysterious ways. It's greatly
That's
advantageous that you would know our friend Vex here. Please, what is it you're looking for?
So, where to begin? I don't usually call on the assistance of others. I prefer to work alone usually, but I find myself in a bit of a pinch. There's a shipment of artifacts that came in from Tatooine that, how do I put this, are in the hands of a hut that I'd rather they not be in the hands of.
Who is this hut?
His name is Timo.
Ugh, that slug. Listen, maybe Zaito's right. I was only going to offer my assistance for something in return, but if we can do something to take down that slime ball, then maybe we might have an agreement. Yet, it would be sweeter if you might aid us at Ryloth.
Oh, what kind of aid would you need at Ryloth? What are you going there for?
Well, let's just say for now, refueling and maybe a little expedition on the side.
You don't give me any reason not to say yes, especially if you're going to say yes to my proposition, so I suppose that's the least I could do.
Do you always make this kind of rash decisions?
Only when I absolutely need to.
Yeah, so you're desperate right now. I would say maybe a few credits also be added to this bargain?
Sasha, I will say your university does give you a bit of a. It's a small budget. The Empire has been cutting a lot of arts and similar programs in the Senate's budget, but you do have a little bit of money to work with if that will help them.
Okay.
On the other hand, it does sound like people are trying to make negotiate checks. So I think this might be a bit of a contested role. This is going to be, I think, Oscara's negotiate skill versus Sasha, whichever is higher for you, your cool or your discipline.
My cool would be higher.
All right, so this is going to be, and what is your cool? 1 rank,
Yes.
and you have 2 in presence, so that's 1 yellow, 1 green.
All right.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Mana make this roll, but his difficulty is going to be the same as your skill, so he's going to be rolling 1 red, 1 purple, and then his negotiate skill.
And so I have 1 negotiation and 3 presence.
Okay, so that's 1 yellow and 2 green versus 1 red, 1 purple, and
So wait,
let's do it.
am I rolling also the purple and the red?
Yes,
Okay.
we're just do this all as 1 check.
Oh, okay. So it's green, yellow, green, purple, and red.
Yep, you got it.
And this is
Don't get a despair.
This is for all of us. Okay. Two failures.
I think in this case, Sasha. I mean, basically, Sasha's going to win this negotiation. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
So if you guys want to work out what that means, that Sasha wins the negotiation in this case. But I think that means that Sasha gets to pay whatever she feels like paying,
And
which may not be anything.
I'm just a salty bounty hunter here, Ginny. So I'm just kind of.
Osaka, I don't think she has to pay us anything. Timo the Hutt
Vex,
is somebody.
we could have
I
had
would
some
like-
extra credits. The droid is all fine.
It's all right, Oscar. We may find other opportunities along this venture. Already, it seems as though, again, another tie to Timo the Hutt. I'm sorry, Oscar, but Sasha, let me explain. I'm actually helping a group of miners on Ryloth who are also having trouble with Timo the Hutt. Everything seems to be pointing to us helping each other in this case. I can only see us benefiting at this point. The Force clearly intended for us to meet each other today.
I agree. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind paying you folks a bit of compensation. It's just that I have a very limited fund from the university I'm working for, and honestly, if I had a big fund, I'd just buy my way into this auction and deal with it from there myself. But I'll see what I can do to help you guys as you're helping me.
Wonderful. All right.
Agreed.
Just as an aside, Ginny, this is not something you have to come up with right now, but I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. If you can figure out what university Sasha works for, that might be a thing we can bring in the future.
Okay.
So just think about it in your back of your head. That's all.
I'm writing myself a note.
Alrighty. So I think what we do next is we have unless there's anything else you guys want to deal with right now,
No.
we'll transition to our next scene.
Fade sweep.
And so we're gonna transition, and let's actually move to the next map. But while we do, we're gonna have there's gonna be a bunch of scenes, a little bit of a montage, voiced over by Sasha as she's explaining the legwork she's done ahead of time to case the art museum you guys are heading towards. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move that tag to the art museum. And if you guys want to transition your characters over. I'll start going and explaining basically what Sasha's relaying to you.
We may need to also just tell Ginny really quickly that to bring your character over, go to the Journal tab on the right side of your screen, and then drag the name over.
Okay. It worked.
Alrighty.
I'm not sure where I should stick her, though.
We'll figure that out in a second. So, Sasha, you tell them the place you're going to is the... Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me zoom in. The Fig and Associates Art Museum is actually a shell business owned by Team of the Hut. And it's basically just a private museum. It's kind of one of those ones where, you know, to even get in, you need to pay an exorbitant amount of credits to see the exhibits. But you know from casing the joint, there are two entrances. One is the one where everyone's currently gathered right now around the number 1. That is the main entrance with a pair of double doors that require either a passkey to get in, or there's also a little computer scomp link where droids can access. Kind of the little device that R2-D2 uses to jack into computers. There's one of those nearby as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also where security is the strongest. However, in the back of the museum, around the number 8, if you guys scroll down there, is a maintenance shaft where basically that's where the where waste is disposed of. It's see if I can zoom in here and show you guys some more details. There's there's waste disposal units. There's a small trash compactor. It's a bit of a storage room as well. Security is a bit lighter there. However, when you come out, there's basically a vent you would come out, and it would put you basically right out in the middle. You also know from going through the museum earlier in the day, there is a actual physical security presence who patrols through the museum following that little dotted yellow path. That's the route the security takes, and they basically, the way that's going to work game-wise is every round or turn, they are going to move from one room to the next. Now, what you are looking for, you're not actually 100% sure where they've set up the artifacts. You know that these artifacts are from Tatooine. You'll recognize them when you see them. Unfortunately, because you weren't able to get inside, you don't know where they're being kept right now. So you guys are going to have to kind of search around and find them while you're going, all while evading that security patrol. So where do you guys want to start? This is, again, a little bit of chance for you guys to plan how you're going to enter. Do you risk the front doors and the higher security, or are you going to try and sneak in the easier way, but maybe come in a little bit unprepared when you first enter?
Well, I think that maybe we should ask Ginny to maybe take the lead in sharing her thoughts, since this is kind of her mission.
Okay.
Alright, so the front's heavily guarded, and it's a little less guarded in the back, but we aren't... Wait, are we sure where we're going to end up in the museum?
If you come in through the back, you'll be coming in through number 8
Yes.
on the map. There's a vent there, but once you go through that vent, you're basically onto the main floor, and you'll be kind of exposed. If you come in through the lobby, there's a kiosk, some barriers up there, so you could at least maybe be a little better prepared if you're coming in through that main lobby. But you'll have higher security getting in the front entrance.
So, is there any way to legitimately get into this establishment without paying?
Well, right now,
Notice
right
if
now
we
it's
snuck
closed.
in.
It's closed right now.
Okay.
Basically, it's not really night, but it's a night cycle on the station. So like the lights are down low. There's only kind of security lighting on the inside of the museum. as you're peering in, and there'll be a pair of security guards who will be making the rounds on the inside of the museum.
How's the outside looking?
Right now, the outside's pretty deserted. You do note on the front entrance there is a little security camera on the outside, a little hollow recorder. But that's it at the moment. There are no guards outside because, again, it's basically on a main thoroughfare. There's a couple people walking by, but most of them are basically heading home for the night, getting ready to go to bed.
Okay. Are there any things that are flammable?
Why don't you make a perception check, and we'll see. It'll be an easy perception check.
Perception was cunning, right?
Yes.
So that's one success.
You do actually find there is not far, there's a dumped over waste bin full of flammable material of various kind.
Okay. Is there maybe something like you know how rubber can give a little smoke?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's probably something, the Star Wars equivalent of rubber. Maybe
An old drum or something that's standing.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is kind of like a typical, on a planet this would be a street, because the space station it's a corridor. But, there's, people have put out waste to be picked up by the station sanitation department.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say with that success in your perception, you have whatever it is you need to do whatever it is you're thinking of doing.
Okay. I would turn to the others. I got a plan. If we make a fire on the back side, they will move there. Hopefully. And then we go through the main door.
I'm always for making fire, but there is just one consideration that we should take into account, and that is, this is a very enclosed place we are, and would the fire risk also setting off all of the specific alarms for the various collectibles?
Only thing I really want to do is create a smoke screen in front of the building.
Okay. So I kind of feel like maybe it might be worth just considering, since it is like a spaceport and everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm guessing there's some kind of security protocols. Like they probably have droids that are gonna swoop in instantly. It might actually be something that could create a diversion, but also could make it harder for us to get in.
Well, it depends on what way you go. If you do it at the front and you come in the back, that might work, because that'll at least put attention on the front. Conversely, if you want to do it in like that back maintenance area, and then try and go in through the front, that might work as well. In the main corridor, there'll probably, like you were saying, part of the droid safety, or the station's safety, have their own droids deal with it. If it's done in that back area, that might bring the guards back, because they're in charge of that space.
Then I think that's what we should probably do.
Okay.
I agree.
Alrighty. So it sounds like you're gonna divide up the team a bit. So who is gonna start that fire back in that rear area?
Does Vex have any kind of equipment or some device built into him, because a medical droid might need to cauterize a wound or something like that?
That would make sense to me.
So I think, Vex, you should be our pyro today.
Alrighty.
Alright.
Something you guys should think about, though, is who is going to be taking care of the security on the door. That's going to require either a computers or a skullduggery check to get past.
Which I have. Let me double check real quick. I think I've got computers, don't I?
I think so.
Some
I remember that from
something
last time.
or I have something to break in. I gotta look here.
I don't have computers, but since I basically am a computer, I got 4 intellect. I could possibly deal with it.
Oh, that's true. I do have 2 intellect, 1 point in computers, but then there was something else I thought I had that was basically breaking into things.
You do have the talent bypass security,
Yes.
which
that's
will
what it was.
remove setbacks from those computer checks, which
Right.
there would be.
Yep.
'Cause,
Yep. Remove a setback die for computer or skullduggery checks made to disable security devices or open locks. Well, that's what this is.
Okay.
So, but would this be any better than if Vex makes the roll?
You won't know until you make the roll. That's kind of the risk of it.
That's
You know,
true.
you can. I will say, while you guys are, or Sasha, part of the thing you did while you were casing the joint, you will know that this is a fairly decent security program built into the door. That will work out mechanics-wise into roughly a hard or 3 purple dice check.
All right.
So you guys
If
know that.
Could Osaka and I work together on this?
Sure. And then would you guys have Sasha or Zaito? I'm not sure if Zaito's the best person to start the fire.
I could go start the fire because I could try to sneak away after the fire has been made back to the front entrance to meet up with them.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
You are good at that. So
Alrighty. So I'm gonna need, but yes, then Oscara and Vex can totally help each other. And I believe now, Vex, you said you don't have computers as a skill, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you can still help. You can still provide some boost die for
Okay.
Oscara's roll, or vice versa.
so we are trying to break
I'm so
into.
sorry, guys. I need to step away from my mic for a second.
Okay, no problem.
We need to. We're breaking into 8, right? That part of the map.
1, I believe.
Oh, 1.
1 is the
The
front.
fire is
Yeah.
going to be at 8.
The fire's going to be at 8.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. Duh. Okay, so in that case, what I have for rolls. Oops.
Alrighty. Well, that depends. It could either be you making the roll, or it could be, or did we already decide that you're going to make the roll? With Vex
I
helping?
just meant like what I have to contribute, right?
Right.
Is the 2, or excuse me, the 1 computer, I guess, and the 2
1 ranking
in
computers.
intellect.
Right. So that'll be 1 yellow, 1 green, plus, I'll say with Vex helping you get 2 boost die.
Okay.
Since he's offering, a 4 intellect, that's a lot of. He's doing his best to help, even though he doesn't have computers as a skill. And then it'll be against 3 purple.
So shall I put these in?
Yeah, go ahead and put them in, and we'll that roll.
So it was 3 purple. Was it 1 yellow?
1 yellow.
And then what were the others?
1 green, 1 yellow, 2 blue. Yeah, then the 3 purple.
Okay, that's a lot of dice. I love the dice
Yeah.
in this game.
They're fun.
All right.
And we'll say Sasha is able to start the fire. Starting a fire is fairly easy.
Hey,
Sorry, guys. I'm back.
hey,
No, no
welcome
worries.
back. No problem. That was perfect. We just finished up our talk about rolling. Okay,
Perfect time.
this is interesting.
Ooh.
We have a total net, or sorry, not a total, a net 3 successes, but 1 disadvantage.
Interesting. Okay. I think you get that door open, but something doesn't go quite right. So, Do you guys have any suggestions for what that should be? I have a couple ideas of what it could be.
I leave it to anyone here.
Of what the disadvantage could be for getting the door open.
An alarm could go off.
It could, but that would kind of put things in a hairy situation right off the bat. My suggestion was going to be you get the door open, but it's stuck open.
Oh, that would be something.
This door is now open to whoever is walking by, and you can't get it shut.
That would definitely be a disadvantage.
Because it's just one disadvantage. This is meant to just be something that makes things trickier, or maybe...
But
Yeah,
I
okay.
feel like the guards would know. Well, that actually is pretty good because the guards wouldn't necessarily. Well, but then they might go into some sort of lockdown, knowing that we're here.
Well, that depends on when they get back to it. Because right now, I'm going to move the 2 guards I had set up earlier. They're both back here.
Dealing with smoke. I don't think we have much time. Let's hurry.
I'm going to shrink them down a bit. Didn't realize they were so big.
Yeah, I was a bit scared of that.
Yeah, sorry. That was just me forgetting to shrink them down. Okay. So, with that, Sasha comes running back around the corner. Sasha, I just said you were... Starting a fire is not a hard thing to do in Star Wars. You do it. And as you're running away, you heard some voices saying... what was it? Hey, Percy! Percy, we got smoke back here! Come on, hurry over!
Wait up, small Ben. I'm coming, I'm bringing the extinguisher.
And you do that, and you get back around. The remaining 3 of you are now all in that lobby area. Right now, the lights are dimmed down, so it's a bit hard to see. What I'm going to have everyone do at the top of the session right now is I'm going to have everyone make just a blanket stealth check. And we'll use that going forward as you guys are sneaking around. So everyone make... And this is for now going to be an easy stealth check because there's no one in the room.
There's
And that's
one
just
purple
based
die,
off
right?
your agility, right?
Agility plus your ranks in stealth.
Right. So I have just 4 agility. I have nothing in stealth, so...
That's okay. 4 agility still goes a long way. And this is against just one purple dice.
So it's 1 purple and 4 green?
For you, yep.
Yeah.
And it would be 1 yellow, 2 green, and 1 purple for me, right?
Plus 1 blue because you have the talent Stalker, I believe, which gives you a free bonus die for stealth checks. You're
Oh, that's
sneaky.
cool.
You're very sneaky.
I'm very... Alright, I'm going to roll this. So I have 1 success and 1 advantage.
1 success, 1 advantage. Alrighty.
And I have 2 successes and 2 advantages.
I have no success and 1 advantage.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of advantages going on. Let me make a quick roll for Zaito.
Did we take her?
I'm assuming she's with you.
Yeah, she's on the map anyway.
While you guys were planning, she would have said that she wants to come along.
Okay.
Because this sounds exciting. And she
She can send lookout.
Exactly. Like, don't worry, I'll tell you exactly what I see. And then just kind of waits a beat and starts laughing.
That sounds like her. That's great.
She got 2 successes and an advantage. So I think with all these advantages, I'm going to say the rest of you are helping Vex to sneak around. And that's where we are. So again, you're in this lobby. Lights are dim, but you can still make out details. There's a desk with a couple of those Star Wars style computer stations. There is a statue in the center there. There's a plaque that reads to Bartholomew S. Hackermeyer, founder of this music. And it's a, let's say, it's more interesting if it's not a human. I'm going to say this is a, what would be an interesting alien species for this to be? This is a, I don't know, you guys have any suggestions? It can be literally anything. Doesn't matter.
What's Panda Baba's?
The Aqualish.
Yeah.
It's an Aqualish. He's dressed in a stately. He's got that cloak going behind him. He has a book held underneath one arm and a hand held up in a very kind of noble manner, and as if he's bidding welcome to all who enter in.
I love it.
Bartholomew. And yeah, so that's where you find yourselves right now. To get to the next room, you see there are a couple. They're deactivated right now, but they're basically some security scanners. Set up basically like you would have, say, like your typical airport. It's basically, where people would walk through and it would scan for weapons and whatnot. But for the moment, that's deactivated. So what do you guys do?
Well, I'm going to try to find the crates that I spotted earlier.
Okay.
So perhaps walk into the next room and look around.
Okay. So let's go ahead. I'll move yourself up to, again, past those little kiosks.
You said there was a computer interface here, right?
Yes, there was a computer interface in that circular station where the chairs are.
Okay. Could I do a quick check to see if I can find there where the stuff is?
Absolutely.
Ascara does a roll.
Zaito is kind of crouched down, lightly tapping the floor with her cane, making her way forward. Following, I think, behind Sasha. Or actually, no, I think she'll be crouched down by where Vex is, since she was helping him move about.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would like to do a search on the computer.
Absolutely. This is going to be, because you're trying, it's going to be an easy check, because it's a very simple computer interface. Easy check, but I'm going to add a setback, because you're trying to do this quietly.
Okay, then I'm going to roll.
All right. So 1 purple, 1 black.
Okay, that's 1 success.
1 success?
1 failure, 2 advantages.
Oh, 1 failure, 2 advantages. Okay. Okay. So you don't find what you were hoping to find, which is probably like a list of like a manifest. But you are able, I think, to bring up a basically the equivalent of a brochure with a map, with labels of like what's in each room. I think for 2 advantages, it won't tell you exactly what you're looking for, but maybe it'll give you some clues. So let me.
Can I do a quick printout on it?
Sure, or maybe what you can do instead is you can just quickly transfer it to a personal data pad.
Okay, yeah, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Printing is so 1997.
I think paper exists in Star Wars. They're very cagey about it if it does. Everything is always data pad.
That's
so
so
I'm
true.
like,
So true.
Yeah, I
paper
quickly
does?
upload it to my datapad, and I will follow after Zaito and Sasha.
Awesome.
And I would almost like to yell to her, but then Zaito just puts her hand for my mouth. Quiet.
Please, Master Droid.
Quiet. Yes.
So, you guys are heading to room number 10. Alrighty.
Sasha. Sasha.
Room number 10.
Yes.
I might have found something.
Oh, what did you find?
Oh, and I will give her the datapad.
Do another
All right.
roll.
So you. Another what?
Ascara is just rolling all around the floor here.
Oh, just tactical rolls back and forth.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Sasha, you bring up the data pad, and you see the room you're currently in is like a little natural science area. It's actually very similar. If you've ever been to like a Discovery Zone, there's lots of interactive displays.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those kinds. So
Can I stay here all night?
there's the little tube where it blows a little ball up or something. Maybe it's not a ball in this. It's like a weird shape.
Or like
'cause it's
those
Star Wars.
they're like the little ones you put the cloth little handkerchief in, and then it flies around the room. And this is great. I love it.
So there's a lot of things. Yeah, kind of basically going over this is what this is what Durasteel is made out of. This is so it's kind of it's made for like a probably younger patrons.
I think Ascara just has a moment of appreciation. She doesn't show it. It's not really visible. It's just that she kind of lingers a little bit longer looking at this and just thinking. There's something there.
Yeah, there's all kinds. There's a display on how hyperdrives work, which the camera does not linger on because.
But this impacts her. This impacts her in like a different way. Like this is recalling some memories, and some relationships. Yeah.
Very cool. What are the rest of you doing?
She softens a little bit.
Oh.
Just a little bit. I mean, it's brief, but it's there.
She stops her tactical rolling around the room.
Exactly. She slows down. She stops the rolls. And maybe, just maybe, she'll be a little bit nicer to Sasha in the next encounter.
Alrighty, but speaking of Sasha, you can tell definitely just from a quick look around, this is probably not where your artifacts are located.
So I'd like to go through the information on the datapad to see if I can find anything of use.
Okay. Make me a... let's not make this a roll. Let me just kind of go over, as you look around, what you're seeing. I'll just go in backwards order. You're in 10 right now. Moving on to 9. 9 is like a little kind of commissary dining area. So again, not much going to be of useful there. 6 and 7. 6 and 7 are going over kind of more... It's closer to a historical section, but it actually has stuff about the station. Like in 7, there's that kind of star-shaped display. That is actually a model replica of the station. And it's actually going into a bit of history about Orvac Station, who built it, how it came to be, going back thousands of years, because, again, Star Wars, everything is old. It's been around forever. There's a display in the corner of Ryloth in that kind of reddish circular area, as that's the nearest system. 6 has more displays, like... there's a couple... these are like displays of various ship models. Again, it's more kind of a history of the area. Moving over, 8 again is that kind of maintenance area. 5 has some interesting things. There you can see there's actually stuff about the Clone Wars in that section. You can see there's ship models, things talking about various battles that happened around. There may even be a display about Cham Syndulla in there, again, since that is so close. 3 is kind of some more basic stuff. You have, again, another display of a planet and its moon in the middle there. I think that is the Ryloth display right there, since that's the closest system. And there's a couple other feature displays. 4, on the other hand, is definitely more kind of history and various figures who were important, as well as you can tell there's seating there. That might be closer to what you're looking for, but also right next to you is 11. And 11 is a storage and research area. That's kind of where they keep stuff that they don't put out for public display while they're doing either research or while they're getting stuff ready to put into new displays.
Actually, have we established what we actually are looking for? Like, what is the item?
If you guys want to make that up right now, I was just saying they were very generic Tatooine style artifacts. But they can, if you guys have an idea for what they could be, I'm open to suggestions. We can make this up right now.
Maybe something detailing the lore of the Force or something.
Oh, so maybe some Force artifacts, something related either to the Jedi,
I like that
Yes.
or
idea.
maybe some other Force traditions.
Since we
Maybe-
are on a place that is Empire related, I think that would be a good instigator for us to later adventures.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a good point.
indeed.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Okay.
We
Maybe,
don't
yeah,
need
maybe
to,
we can say
Yeah, we don't need to
It's
necessarily
not-
say much more than that, but that gives us a starting
Okay.
point. Yeah.
maybe it's some writings of an ancient Jedi or something,
Mhm.
or some other.
Excuse
It
me.
could even be like something I always thought was interesting was that the religion from Rogue One, the from
Right,
Jeddah.
right.
Maybe it can be something from that religion that sprang up. So it's not necessarily Jedi related, but something of that nature. That could be very interesting.
I like
Or
that
maybe
idea
it's-
as well.
Some chronicles of Jedi adventures or something. Anyway, while you guys are looking at that, you hear some voices. Again, you hear those same familiar voices. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. You know, the security for this station, our job is hard enough. We shouldn't be having to deal with fires started by homeless people. And the other voice cuts in. I think you're being a little harsh there, Small Ben. We're, poverty's a big problem on this station. It was no trouble for us. Took us all of a few minutes. Now we're back to our route. So, why don't we get back to what we were talking about? Oh, right. We were, right. You were talking about, you're going to the game next week. Oh, yep. Got my tickets all ready for the blob races. It's too much money for my blood. But I hope you have a good time, Percy. And if you guys peek around the corner, I'm going to put them on this yellow security route. They're in number 3 right now. You see them, an Arconan, that kind of triangle-headed alien, and a Nautilin, the guys who look like they have an octopus for a head. The two of them, there's the Arconan's kind of like a couple heads shorter than the big, kind of rotund Nautilin, and they're dressed in security colors. They're not really wearing armor, but they're wearing like a security uniform, and they seem to be friends, and they're just having a conversation while they are patrolling through the museum. And they're being very loud as they're talking, so you can hear them coming from quite a ways away. And they're going to head in a counterclockwise rotation, so they're going to head into 9 next. What do you guys do?
Get to cover, everyone, quick. Now, I feel like since they're coming into 9, and I can kind of tell this, Vex and Sasha are the most exposed right now. Maybe I sort of indicate that they go behind that little fun play display thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm gonna duck behind this desk here.
Perfect. And I'm actually going to do my little athletic rolls over to this little area here. And I do have athletic in my skills, or athletics. Is it possible for me to hide Dash in 9 somewhere without them seeing me? Like, where they are, can I get to like here? Or can I get to like behind some chairs, or?
That's definitely a possibility. It's going to require a stealth check and a bit of a harder one, because they are going to be heading in there soon.
So let me lay this on you.
Mhm.
I know it's stealth, but is there maybe something else that would be like related to my athletics? Like maybe that I can somehow get to, like.
Maybe you do one of those things where you jump up in the ceiling, put your arms and feet out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I see. All right, that's going to be a bit harder though. So that'll be a hard athletics check. Let's see. Do I want to make that any harder for you? I think that might just be hard enough.
So, and if I were to do that, I would do it like here, like in the doorway.
Maybe, yeah, or like just like you could be like in the corner.
Oh yeah, like
and just
up
kind
here.
of braced in the corner.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead
And it
and
looks
make
like
me.
It looks to me like it's in shadow as well.
Exactly. So I'm gonna downgrade that a bit. I'm gonna make it an average athletics check, but I'm gonna put on a setback die because you have to hold this position for as long as they stay in there.
Can I flip a light side point? Wait, we didn't do anything with the light side.
I was just about to say, like, oh shoot, we forgot to do that. So tell you what, I am going to just say yes. We already rolled it, and oh, what a coincidence! We have exactly 3 dark and exactly 3 light. How about that?
Perfect.
So we don't mess up the flow of the session.
Okay.
Let me explain again how this works for those of you, since we only introduced this last time. There is a destiny spread that's supposed to represent the balance of the force. Normally, at the beginning of the session, if I were on top of things, I would have asked everyone to roll 1 force die, the white die, and then we'd have our spread to start with. I forgot. My bad. So I'm just going to make it up right now. So I have it in front of me now. 3 dark, 3 light, and yes, Mana, if you want, at any time, the players can flip one of the light side pips to dark, and they can automatically upgrade any of their rolls once, changing another green die to a yellow die.
Because my hope is this actually puts me in a really good position to get like good information, and also maybe like, you know, if I have to catch the jump on them, I'm right in position. So.
Conversely, just so I can continue explaining, conversely, at any time I can flip a dark side to a light to make their rolls harder, to make things more interesting. Usually I don't do that right after they flip a point to help themselves, just because that's not fair. It doesn't really change anything. So I'll only do that when I think it's a dramatic or appropriate moment. So right now the spread stands at 4 dark, 2 light, and go ahead and make that roll, Mana.
Okay, so I need to populate my dice really quickly.
Right.
So my athletics is brawn of 2, so that's 2 green plus 1 yellow for my athletics, right?
Yep.
And then what did you say I add to that? A red?
No, a black.
A black. Okay.
A setback. This is just to represent that you have to hold this for a while, and hopefully these guys don't dawdle in the commissary for very long.
Okay, and then what do I get for that force? Was that taking away one of the setback? Because it would have been 2?
No, it takes away one of the green and replaces it with a yellow.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I actually have 2 yellow,
1 green.
That's right. I forgot that mechanic. Okay, so in
okay.
other words,
That's
your basic stats are always the green dice. Your skill is always a yellow dice. Mm-hmm. When you flip that light side point, you can upgrade one of those green basic stat dice die into yellow. Okay, cool.
Yellow. Mm-hmm.
So you 2 yellow, 1 green, 1 black, and ready to roll?
Go for it. Here we go.
Yes. Okay, so we got 1 success and a net of 3 advantages.
Oh.
This is perfect.
Okay. So what happens next? The Nautilin and the Arconin round the corner, walk right past you, still chit-chatting, still, so you caught up on the latest episodes of Game of Bones? Oh, that show's too grisly for me. I respect that you like it, but it's not for me. And they just keep going, and what do you want those advantages to be?
I'm sorry, I was just typing in chat that I don't know where you come up with these things, and I love you. Let's see. Well, I think can I just be can it be as simple as we hear them talk about, hey, did you see those crazy Tatooine doodads and and actually they say, I was cleaning it just, it was right over there, and so we know exactly where it is, and
Yeah, just a...
and,
go ahead.
And since it's 3 advantages, what if they get into a debate about Game of Bones and get distracted, sit down at the chairs, and I'm able to sneak off and tell this information with the others? So they're just kind of engaged in their own little debate and won't really be pursuing us.
So I think I'm just going to roleplay that out real quickly. So, they're talking like, so, Small Ben, are you nervous about the auction tomorrow? Ah, yeah, the boss has really been riding us hard about that, but don't worry. We got everything in that storage closet ready to go. It's out of the way. It's all prepared. All we got to do is remember before we end our shift tonight to set it up over in the historical section with the appropriate covers over them. But you got that ready. So, and actually, you know what? Percy, do you realize what time it is? No, Small Ben, what time is it? It's time for our second calf break. And they they go
Orange
over
mocha
to the
frappuccino.
We got one of those new it's the kind with the pods you put in. I'm definitely getting mine with salakami what's the
oh my gosh.
I prefer the Malo Run fruit flavor myself. Oh yeah, we got those imports from Lethal. Go for it. Here, let me pour the hot water for you. And they're busy over in the corner doing that. And yes, Oscara, you are able to sneak away.
Okay, I'm gonna do some rolls out of here.
Let's go back to the rest of the party. So what have you guys been doing while Oscara was doing reconnaissance?
I reckon Vex would have moved into the room behind him in number 11 and start slowly check out if there's any chest without making too much sound.
I'm very sorry, my sound cut out for about like 5 seconds. One more time, Rem. I'm sorry about that.
I think Vex would move in 11 where he would be more out of sight and give a quick scan if he sees any of the chests that...
You actually do see the room is full of crates. Again, this is kind of their storage research area. So there's those orange tables are kind of set up where they can pull things out. Right now, there's a couple things like there's maybe a couple of like paintings, some statues that have been laid out. There are data pads nearby that have a little bit of information about them, but like all along that western and northern wall are crates of all shapes and sizes, labeled with various, most of them labeled in Arabesh, some with some additional script maybe from their native planet's language. All make and manner, all kinds, stacked almost up to the ceiling. It's a little bit like a smaller micro version of the big warehouse from the Raiders of the Lost Ark. A little bit of that going on. And that's what you see when you first walk in.
Okay.
Does anything draw your... Oh, go for it.
Not really. I will poke Sasha on the shoulder and point inside.
I'm gonna follow you in then.
Yep, you see the exact same thing. And just, crates everywhere. And a lot of stuff that makes sense to you, Sasha, with your background. Like, this is a typical kind of storage and research area. You see gloves and tools for handling artifacts with care. And you see many different crates. If you want to search for your crates in particular, because you were watching for them earlier, I'll give you a bonus die to find them. But for everyone searching the room right now, it's going to be a hard perception check. Again, with Sasha getting that boost die from earlier.
Can I assist her in it and not really search myself, but more?
Absolutely. If you want to give her 2 more boost die to her roll.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm just making sure I get this correct. So perception would be 1 yellow and then 2 green, and then the difficulty would be 4 purple? No,
3
3
purple.
purple.
Mhm.
And then I have 2 boost dice? Is that what you said?
Yes. 2
Okay.
boost die.
All right, I'm going to roll this.
Good luck.
Thank you. I have 2 successes and 2 advantages.
You zero right in on your crates, yeah, they're actually, again, because they were preparing them, they're actually, I'll say part of the advantages is they're right out, the top has been lifted off, so you can go right over to those, in just a second.
Does this mean
Let
that
me-
all of my whole athletics thing was irrelevant because you knew exactly where to go?
No, because now those guards are distracted.
Fair point. Fair point. I love it.
Fair point. Plus, there was just like a little bit of dramatic irony for the audience that we got to know what was going on before they knew.
Good point.
But I'm going to say, yeah, Zaito's staying out with Oscara at the moment. So let's move, or you guys can say where you are. So Sasha and Vex, you're standing over that crate, and together you move the top of it off. And now, Sasha, I want you to make me a knowledge lore check.
All right.
And this is also going to be hard with a setback, because you're trying to identify these items properly, to make sure that they're the ones you're looking for.
All right, so no boosts this time. So it's still the 3 purple. All right.
Still 3 purple. However, I see a moment to be dramatic, so I'm going to flip a destiny point from
no.
dark to light.
Oh,
One of those
man.
purple is going to be red. Just one. So it'll be
Okay.
1 red, 2 purple. I'm hoping for a despair.
So I got 2 successes, but 2 threats as well.
2 threats. Okay. So at first glance, you put your gloves on, you carefully pull, I think they're like probably some tablets of some nature. You pull them out and you're checking, and you have a data pad out of your records, using it to kind of, cross verify. And at first glance, this appears like it matches the picture, but as you're looking at it, you start to realize a couple things that don't quite add up about these. One is the material it's made out of doesn't feel right, and as you're going, even though it seems to match, more and more you're beginning to think this might actually be a forgery.
Oh no.
And I'm going to say that's what the threats are. These are actually forgeries. I mean, these are obviously, this is what Timo sent, but unfortunately, these are not the actual artifacts that you were hoping they would be. They are instead some very clever forgeries. And I think another one of those threats is going to be that while you are doing this, Oscara and Zaito here from the commissary, Small Ben and Percy are making their way. They're still talking. They still have their cups of calf, but they're making their way now into room number 10. And they still seem distracted, but they're looking at the displays, and Small Ben is talking to Percy about hey, you ever bring your kids here? You got kids, right? Oh yes, 2 rambunctious little ones. They do enjoy these displays. The static discharge machine is their favorite. Makes their tentacles stand on end. And they're right now over by these displays, not too far from where you guys are right now. So what do you guys do next? They're kind of actually blocking your easy access to the exit at the moment. So what do you guys do now?
So Zaito and I are still kind of behind this desk, but the other two are in the actual. Okay, can I look around and see if there is a grate or something in this storage room? Presumably there is, because we have to store artifacts, so it's got to be all temperature controlled and air regulated and all that.
So you look like some
like ceiling grates that I can do the old classic, heave you up and then jump in myself, and then we're off.
Tell you what, make me another perception check.
Okay.
And this is going to be average with a setback. 'Cause you're kind of doing this quickly, spur of the moment.
Okay, perception. I have cunning. So I have 2 green, 1 yellow.
Mm-hmm. And then 2 purple and 1 black.
And the results are 1 failure, and oops. Hold on a second.
No problem.
1 failure, and that's it.
Ooh, just 1 failure. So I'll tell you what you notice is this. Yes, there are those grates, but it's like those office ceiling tiles where, yes, you could get up there, but you're going to be making a lot of noise as you're moving around there. It's not maybe the most stealthy route to take.
Not a good plan. Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Zaito, maybe she can do something to help. Actually, no, this is a chance for her to use one of her talents. Let me open up her sheet real quick. Because she has a talent that can actually help in this situation. She has encouraging words. After an engaged ally fails a check, she can suffer 1 strain to assist that ally's next check this encounter as an out-of-turn incidental, which she's going to do. So what that means is, it's basically, she says, Ascara, maybe there's another way, and gives you a little bit of encouragement, and says that maybe up isn't the way out for us.
And at that point, Ascara just starts to look down.
So make another perception check.
Same thing, right?
Same thing. This time you're going to add
Oops.
A boost die. To that roll.
A boost die of blue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's 1... let me just throw this in and see what we get here. It's just 1 success.
1 success. Alrighty, so what do you think it is that Ascara finds that helps her in this case?
So, thinking about this makes a lot of sense. A museum is always built, or any kind of library or any facility that is meant to secure artifacts always has to take into account any sort of weather or climactic sort of or what am I trying to say? Any bad things, disasters that could come. So I propose that we are in a room that has actually a whole flooring that would allow for the event of any kind of flood or fuel leak in the spaceport. And so it's actually like a whole graded flooring with like a subfloor underneath, so that there would be enough space for water or any liquid to fill up.
Exactly, and this is a space station, so there probably are like joists between floors of the space station. So yeah, I'll say yes. That is what you were able to find, a grate leading down.
Perfect.
Into one of these subfloors. But first, I think we need to check back in with the others in the storage room. Vex and Sasha. Sasha, you've just learned that what you were sent to find are almost certainly fakes. What do you want to do now?
I kind of want to destroy them because I'm angry that they're fakes. I got myself into the situation for pretty much nothing.
Give
For
in
no
to the
satisfaction.
dark side of the Force.
So you just kind of like in your frustration, kind of like you break them in half.
Yes.
And I think that's when you notice like on the inside, these are definitely made out of like porcrete and not an actual like stone. Basically like a cement analog. Now that you can look at them from the inside, and that just kind of confirms your suspicions. But while you're looking at it, make me another either perception or another knowledge check. Knowledge education, maybe, if you have that.
I do have education. It would be pretty much the same either way. So.
Okay. No problem.
With what difficulty? With what difficulty?
I'm sorry, my sound cut out again. Did you say something?
Yeah, I'm wondering
Ginny?
what difficulty I should roll it under.
The difficulty should be this will be average, 2
Okay.
purple.
I have, let's see, 1 failure and 2 advantage.
1 failure and 2 advantage. Okay. So I'm gonna say with those advantages, you can maybe learn some clues about how these were made without knowing exactly what happened. I'm gonna say while you're looking at these tablets and you're examining them, you see some telltale signs that these might have been part of like a mass production process, and that's maybe a little bit of clue of how these were made, and maybe someone else, if they want to look, like a Vex, if you want to take a look at this, maybe you can gain some more clues about this fake's origin. Oh, Rem, are you there?
Oh, I just realized that Rem is no longer in our voice chat. I wonder what. Oh, hang on a second. Let me drag him back in. Hold on.
Okay.
If I can. Rem, you're back. Sorry about that,
Rem.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Let me catch you back up on what was kind of just happening. So Ginny discovered that these artifacts are most likely fakes. She broke one open, noticed it was basically made from a porcrete material, like concrete almost, and thinks that maybe, based on the way they seem to be put together, they might have been mass-produced. And I was saying that if you want to make your own kind of perception check or knowledge roll, maybe you can learn some more clues about how these were made, or maybe who made them.
Yeah, that's not gonna be a problem. I can't see my sheet at the moment.
Ooh.
It looks like Rem's having some internet issues right now, so.
Oh, okay. I can look up real quick. Vex, you also have knowledge education.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you, if you want to make an average knowledge education roll.
Let's see if I can get the dice roll working.
No problem.
I fear there's a no.
Here, I can, if you want, I can make the roll for you if you want.
Yeah, do that. I'm gonna quickly reboot afterwards.
Okay, no problem.
Sounds good.
Average.
When you're done, Rem, just let me know and I'll drag you back in.
Yeah.
So, Rem, I got for you 2 successes and 2 advantages.
Okay.
All right. So what you learn is actually you can identify the particles in the concrete itself. Definitely come from sediment and soil from Tatooine itself. You even recognize that some of it as coming from, with those advantages, coming from soil that you recognized from just outside Teimo's palace. So I'm going to say it's reasonable for you to suspect that perhaps Teimo was the one forging these artifacts in the first place.
That bastard Timo has been forging these.
So not only was he going to be selling these, he was perhaps mass producing these to sell to various locations, who knows where.
So at this point, Ascara, like if I'm kind of reconciling time, she's figured out the flooring, but she's also kind of now paying attention to this conversation and realizing the forgery. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I feel like I've kind of got my foot in a grate and I'm kind of like opening it and I just say, so this mission was for nothing anyways, huh, Sasha?
Perhaps these are just decoys. Maybe if maybe if I open another crate, maybe the real ones are in there.
How could you even talk about decoys? Clearly, that hut is just trying to make another dollar. That Slimo does not know how to do any honest business. Why would you even have thought that this was actually real artifacts in the first?
But Zaito will cut in. But Ascara, we did learn something.
And
we learned that Timo is trying to raise a lot of money. Sasha, am I correct in assuming these artifacts would sell for quite a number of credits?
Of course. The university wouldn't be seeking anything less than.
But why would Timo need more money?
That's a very good question. Very good question, Oscar. I think as we... I think we should stick together. I think if we continue to follow the threads of this hut's trail, we may learn exactly the answer to that question. But I think I can hear those guards drawing closer. Oscar, I heard you lifting something. Perhaps we should leave.
Right this way. And as I'm kind of escorting people into this grate, I kind of make a apologetic glance to Sasha.
And Sasha, what do you do with the fakes that you have? Do you want to hang on to those for further study?
Yes, I'm going to hang on to at least the one that I broke open.
Okay. Very good. So again,
Maybe
I see
break the rest.
Just to be spiteful.
Vex
I mean, he wouldn't be able to sell them that way.
If you want to, you guys can totally do that.
Maybe
if it hurts Timo, then yes.
That is a good point. We are definitely trying to mess with Timo, but if in the process we also eliminate a possible source of revenue for us, are we really doing anything worthwhile?
It'd be immoral to sell fakes to unsuspecting people.
This Sasha, she's going to be the death of me. What if I pocket a couple of things and throw them in my... Wait, did I purchase a backpack or do I just have my utility belt? I can't remember.
I think you just have the utility belt for right now.
Oh my goodness.
Minkoff staring.
I just have the utility, but yeah, so I'll just pocket something that looks expensive and...
Alrighty. And I think what happens, again, I see we're coming up on our noon end time. The camera pulls away back to those two security guards talking, and again in the middle of their chit-chat, but they hear loud banging and a raucous noise coming from the storage room, and we see them rush over, and they immediately rush over to the crate and... Percy, what happened? They're all smashed! And while they're shouting at each other, we see that grate move and click into place as the four of you make your exit back to the station proper.
Awesome.
So we're kind of wrapping up now. I'm going to transition us back to the overall station map. But is there anything you guys want to do before we wrap up? We're basically right now, you guys are making your way back to the ship. Is there anything you guys would like to role play out before we end the session?
Yeah, so this is where, as really a pretty novice person to tabletop role-playing games, I'm not sure. I'm thinking of this in terms of story, and I know I've done this a lot with Ascara, but I've mentioned very little details, especially the way that I get angry or kind of go back and forth, and I've done it with Zyto. Well, with Zyto it was different. With Zyto I was very curious. With Sasha, for whatever reason I was miffed, or there is a reason in my mind anyways. What do you recommend as someone who's very familiar, and Rem too, because I know both of you are, Rem plays D&D a lot, for those of you who don't know, and streams it as well. What do you recommend? How should I use these opportunities to try and elaborate on that? Should I wait? How do you reveal things like that?
You could either reveal them like in a scene with Sasha if you want to talk on the way back. I imagine both of you are feeling a little dejected, both for different reasons. Or you can just say, like, if you want to just take a moment to say, like, hey, this is how Ascara is feeling about Sasha or the situation at the moment, you can just say that and be like, this is part of what's going on in Ascara's mind as we're all making our way back to the Crate Fang.
Okay.
Or we can even wait till we're on board the Crate Fang and have everyone talk then. It's up to you guys. If you want to have a moment for your character, just say, like, hey, Dash, I want to have a moment for my character to do this, or talk to this person, or reveal this thing about themselves. And I will make the scene for that.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm ready to reveal all of it, but I will say that a big part of my mission has to do with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And so with Zyto and Sasha, both of them being, let's just, I mean, in my mind, I kind of think of them, they're similar ages to Ascara. Maybe that's not true, but
We're close.
Let's say enough that I kind of I sort of get reminded about my sister. With Zyto, it was a curiosity and a little bit of a gentleness. It was kind of like seeing the side of my sister that was like where I was hopeful, like that maybe I would see her soon. With Sasha, I'm getting a little more like of the troublesome side of my sister, the annoying aspect of her, and also remembering with those things at the museum, just the kind of trouble we'd get into as kids, and so that's why I've been a little harsher with Sasha.
Okay, that's good character development to reveal. Do you want to have a conversation with anybody as we're wrapping up?
I think Ascara needs to wrestle with some demons right now. I think it's kind of a conversation that will be had. That's why I wanted to sort of share that. But because I've kind of there's I lost my temper a couple of times. Like I've made these false starts trying to like negotiate when it wasn't really the right time. I'm starting to unravel a little bit, I think.
Okay. I think what I do want to do before we end, Zyto has noticed both Ascara and Sasha being a bit down and going through some stuff right now. I think she knows to kind of give Ascara her space, but I think with Vex helping to lead the way, Zyto comes up behind Sasha and lays a hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry, Miss Sasha, that we didn't find what you were looking for. But I do hope you will stay with us. Perhaps in time, as I said before, I am hoping to bring these troubles with Timo the Hutt to an end. And I promise if you stay with us, the rest of us will be glad to help you recover these artifacts in time.
I'm a woman of my word. I'll definitely stick with you, and at this point, I really want to see that hut burn. I'm very upset about these fakes.
It's
Side-
okay.
Yeah.
You have
Saito.
me intrigued
Oh, yeah.
to this relics as well.
Well said, Master Droid. Zaito continues. And Sasha, I can understand your frustration, and I'm glad that you have the determination and drive to see this through. But I hope you will come to see us as friends in the future. Thank you again for being a woman of your word. And with that, I think, Vex, is there anything you wanted to do or have a character moment or anything?
No.
Okay.
I think that revelation that the relics intrigue him is.
Okay. I think with that, the four of you board the boarding ramp of the Crate Fang. You can still hear Pash and Lorik arguing aboard the ship.
Rent fighting.
Wrench fighting. Not that conduit, the other conduit. Kind of. And with that, I think we will draw this session to a close. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Ginny, for joining us. You did great. I'm sorry for throwing so much at you at the beginning, but you did wonderfully. I think I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And
I
thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Rem and Mana, for also coming back. Oscar and Vex are great. They're
Absolutely.
just great.
There's some
I
great
love
characters.
Vex. I just need to figure out how his backstory. The backstory he has is he wants to be a better surgeon. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
I don't feel that that's a good drive.
If you want to add to that, feel free. Don't feel
Yeah.
like you're constrained to the write-up they gave.
Yeah,
And-
no, I
yeah.
think I'm gonna think about it.
Go
I
for
think
it.
you're right. I feel like the way you've played him so far, like it totally comes from that place of like that Vex is this, veteran medical droid kind of, but I feel like you're playing him in a different direction. Like he's got a different motivation now. I don't know what it is, but I agree.
Maybe he just has a basic kind of motivation for self-improvement. Being a droid and being able to have much more options than say a flesh and blood person. Maybe just self-improvement is his, at a very basic level, his kind of drive. But how that manifests, I say whatever you want to do, I'm game for.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I think those relics that we found, did they have any symbols for the Force or something on it? Because I think that would be a big how to say it, interest for him.
Yeah, I could see
Absolutely.
that. Like, yeah, I could definitely see that. Cool. Well, yeah, I thank you so much for doing so much talking, everyone. During all of this, I kept muting myself. I coughed through most of this, but
Oh, I'm sorry, Vanna.
but it's been absolutely a blast, and I'm so glad that we were able to do this. And honestly, I would not have been able to have streamed today had it not been for the fact that we were doing this, and I knew that you would be doing so much talking. And Dash, you have put so much time and effort into this. I just want to thank you so much. Everyone, Dash has said that maybe in the future he might stream. He doesn't now, but I just encourage you to get to know him. He's an awesome guy and a great friend, and has really done a terrific job GMing this particular game. We are now on our we just completed our third episode, with more to come. And Dash, maybe before we go, and I have a couple other things to mention, but would you mind just revealing a little bit of the idea of how we're going to take this story forward and the sort of parallel? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. So if it's not already clear yet, the basic thrust is this is about how a powerful criminal mobster is set to really kind of take his enterprise to the next level, and yet it's all potentially about to be ruined by a group of daring individuals who just keep getting in the way. And that's the party. I'm building this off of the starting adventure using a little guide called Long Arm of the Hut, and it's basically you guys will be going to various different planets, running into more things Timo is doing to kind of build his criminal empire, and then you'll be thwarting him at various points all throughout the campaign. So that's kind of the big overall thrust, but the details we will figure out together.
And we'll sort of be doing a little bit of the Star Wars cut between different storylines, perhaps as we have different characters available at different times.
We'll be cutting back and forth. Like today, we had just a portion of the original crew. We might do some stuff with some other members. Next time, it'll be kind of as mainly as people are available. But we'll be jumping back and forth between people's stories.
And as a rough idea, maybe one every month or 2 months is kind of what we're aiming for, depending on how big the scope of the next session is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I would love to do a couple of things before we end. First of all, thank all of you for coming, tuning in, whether you were listening or watching. Either way, it's much appreciated. I also want to thank everyone who subbed or resubbed today. My goodness, I did not expect that today. It really was wonderful. And so thank you so much, Ginny, for that second month in a row sub or resub. Maverick,
you're welcome.
Maverick subbed, and Mika Bane for 5 months in a row. Yes, thank you all so much. And I'll just say I don't know what the plan is for the next few streams. Now, on the calendar, Ginny, you know Monday and Wednesday. Would you mind actually sharing that so I can save my voice a bit more?
Oh yeah, of course. On Monday, Mana and I are going to be continuing on with our Portal 2 co-op. And on Wednesday, he is doing his Mario Maker race with Saving Liberty. And both time slots are, 8:30 Pacific time, right?
Oh, you nailed it.
All right.
Perfect.
And I don't know what you're doing next Saturday, but I do know Monday and Wednesday.
That's perfect. Well, again, it's all going to depend on how I feel and how I'm recovering from this cold. But you know, I'm definitely taking the time, the medicine, all that stuff. So hopefully we're all on track. And actually, that Saturday, you mentioned it, I have on the calendar a Minecraft stream because I did get my laptop for dual PC gaming, and I thought that would be the perfect, sort of thing to bring early on. So if I'm great, if I make a full recovery, or at least a good enough one, that's what you might see this next week. But it is all, to be determined. But before we go, I leave it to all of you to share any social media, any, things about what you're doing, what you're streaming. I welcome anyone who's new today. If you like what you saw, feel free to follow. We'll wrap up and then we'll sign off. Perhaps Rem, would you like to talk a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, my name is Rumiko, and I am a Dungeons & Dragons streamer. I stream a lot of roleplay. I do love these games. And for that, I need to change a lot of voices. So you hear me change a lot of voices. And that's pretty cool in a long time. So yeah. But yeah, I play mostly Dungeons & Dragons. It's a role-playing game just like this, only more in a fantasy setting instead of a sci-fantasy setting.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So check out Remiko. I'll put that shout out in the chat so you can click on that link. Oh, never mind. Fizz, you are on top of things. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Fizz.
And Ginny Gravity?
Oh, yeah, I usually stream. I'm a variety streamer at the moment, but my most recent streams have been some Mario Kart and Pokemon Ultra Sun, and I don't have anything on my schedule at the moment besides the Portal 2 collab, but yeah, in the future, perhaps. Perhaps something else next week. I'm just not sure yet.
Awesome. It is a tough month, I understand. Cool. And I think both of you have the same Twitter handles as well, right?
Yep, Ginny Gravity across the board.
Cool.
My Twitter handle is actually different. It's at Remuko0.
Oh, okay. So there's just the number 0 at the end of it. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Actually, it's written out.
Would you like to put it in the chat? Oh, perfect. There we
There
go.
it is.
Written out. Perfect.
Oh, awesome.
With that, I'm going to just say do good and be well and hand it off to Dash to sign us off before we go.
Alrighty. Well, again, I want to give a huge thanks to everyone who participated and everyone who watched. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching our fun, silly little Star Wars adventures, our own little chapter. And with that, thanks again. May the Force be with you all. The Force is with us indeed. Goodbye.